Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and it occurs to me that there are some games that I never did really finish or give a fair chance, and let's also Field of View. Yeah, stick with that. And that I've also been playing very. I've been playing a lot of games with a lot of the same sorts of ideas, like maybe it's fair to say that I've been really pushing on the same type of game, and maybe it's about time that I. Is there a jump button? Maybe it's about time that I really really took a chance and started playing games that are more like handcraftedly designed instead of all the roguelites. Like I still love roguelites, don't get me wrong, but maybe it's time to start focusing on some games that are a bit more from the heart, a bit more artistic, so to speak. Until a game like that comes along, we're going to play the Stanley Parable. The end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, so sorry, I got quiet there, mostly because I wanted to just... I hate Mondays, K. Garfield. Crouch, 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 crouch. Woohoo! But yeah, I have played Stanley Parable before on the channel. It was a while ago, though, and it was...
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
So for those of you who are unaware, the whole idea of the Stanley Parable is that it's not necessarily like a action game of any sort. It's a game mostly about choice and consequence. Like at any moment in time during the game, I suppose that's the right way to put it. But the narrator will simply state what you should do next, and you either follow the narrator's instructions or you make your own choice. And it's those choices that create the various divergent endings, and in and of itself, that's the fun.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever.
Also, I noticed I can just clip straight through the chair.
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually,
so the reason why I'm doing this a second time is because I had thought I'd remembered that if you did this twice in a row, it would change the ending
what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer.
You might need to do this like 3 or 4 times. I don't know, but I'm not going to make you guys wait through that. I will look that up on my own. So let's actually step out of the office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So, anytime you are tasked to make some sort of choice, you can alter things a little bit by simply doing something other than what the narrator tells you, or something other than what's obvious.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I very much have a deep love and appreciation for this game. What are you? Spreadsheet program. Who gives a damn? Be my Valentine. Nice. And everybody hates Mondays.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now, for argument's sake, I will follow the narrator's instructions this time. But yeah, be openly aware that you have choices. You don't have to do what the narrator tells you, and that's part of the fun of the game.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Reflect. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of... Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Number of slides on this slide. Oh, it's so great. Monetize free to play. Please, no more charts, please, I'm begging. Fill out in triplicate, your boss appreciation specialist. Transcend. Less air. Yes, that is my dream for the future, is less air. And mitosis. Tips for not getting fired. Don't get fired. Man, best thing I've heard all day. I love this. The text. You most of all. There we go. Okay. Now we move on. Okay, there is an ending involving the broom closet. I am going to save that for later.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Extreme bathrooms and time. Alright. So as you can see, there's a lot that you can do. Like, there's even an ending for if you go through the doors and then quickly turn around and rush out before the doors close on you. There's another ending for that as well. But we're gonna be good.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
True, I couldn't possibly have known this. Now, I'm assuming that there's...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
One of the things that really made this game stand out for me was the narrator himself. Pardon me. Like, it's just his, not just the dry wit, but just the sheer richness of that voice.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So again, I'm going to go ahead and do things the way that they're supposed to be done, quote unquote.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Alright, now where am I supposed to walk again? Oh, over here, of course.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
I like
life
that.
in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Would he? Does he even know how to do that? So by now you're probably starting to realize that the runtime of the game is pretty short. But where the game gets its life is with all the different choices you can make. As I said, the game is largely about choice and consequence. So even though I'm following the explicit story that was set up before you now, that's not necessarily where things will end.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley
See a
stepped
cottage,
through the open door.
bridge, and yeah.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
You hear that, everybody? That's exactly the way that things were meant to happen. So how can we fuck that up? Well, how about I show you a couple of possibilities?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
By the way, the reason why I'm doing that is because I remember there being an ending where you can actually get out that window. But I can't figure out how to actually get out the window right now. It's a little embarrassing. And there's no jump button, so I have to find something to climb on. Well, regardless. Keep trying. 420. Awaiting input. Well, hold on. What if I can give some input? Input received. Who farted? Hold on, I want that mug.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, we will continue to follow what the narrator has to say. At least for now.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yes, let's go up to my boss's office. Perhaps I will... Wait, what's this broom closet?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I mean, I could turn around and get back on track. But then again...
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Whee!
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything.
Bro,
At
I'm
least if
doing
there was
squats in
something
the
to
broom
interact
closet.
with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Nah, I'm doing squats, bro. I'm getting ripped.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Oh man, we need to change this mop water. This is
Maybe
dirty.
to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Sorry, bro. We gotta keep doing squats. Now, I forget if the idea is to wait or to actually exit the broom closet and step right back in.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
All right, let's get on with this adventure in broom closets.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Oh, this entertains me so much. Like, this game is just beautiful. Now, I'm thinking Alright, just to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything, let me quick do a little bit of research, recall how I got the broom closet ending. Or rather, how I got it to officially count the broom closet ending. Because by all rights, we've already gotten it. Hmm. Alright, so by all accounts, I've done everything that the broom closet ending requires, it's just not really an ending. Now, there is some ultra deluxe content here, but I don't have the necessary things to
Coming
get it.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Now, I want to see if I can get this. Alright.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad.
Alright, so we are going to go ahead and make a different choice back here.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I think after this one, I'll call it good. But, I mean, there's definitely more Stanley Parable to explore, and explore it I will, because I love this
Stanley
game.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't want to go there, I want to escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't believe you.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
What if I don't want that?
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah, that's right.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Or not.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Office layout. What is this? Corridor. Office computer. Hey, solitaire. Alright, fine. Go away then. See if I care. Button sounds. The office. Hey, go check out the credits if you want. Developed by those guys. And the impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Maintenance room. Yeah, look at it all, just all the assets. An early version of the lounge. Narrator emails. Between a duck and what? From a cool man. Thanks, James Irvine. Are you a rock? Question. Question. You rock? Are you made out of fibers? You, yeah, that's the whole point of the game. Thank you. All right. Greetings, omnipotent voice. What in the world? Dead strong bad. And what do the lights in any room do? They illuminate it. Treat it as important, not spam. What is your message for today? Now, I imagine there's a lot of these to go through, so I'm not just going to sit here and just read all of these. But it's, again, it's just this little attention to details. How? I don't know, Marius. How? Will the game feature capybaras? You know what, Quackster? Yes, it'll feature whatever the hell that is. How do you stay in shape? Hey. Dink dunk. Okay, let's leave this room and go explore other places. The cargo lift. Yay! Hey, all the different assets, all the fun stuff. Countdown desk. Yes, there is a purpose to that. As you can see, there is much to be seen here. Look, this is where I started. See, am I missing anything? Is there anything else anything else? Language, not my strong suit at this moment in time. Freedom ending, of course. Reminds us all of bosses' offices everywhere.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room? Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you. They're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing. Does that sound plausible to you?
There you go. Little outtakes from Kevin Brighting. Very nice. Undoubtedly, Kevin Brighting is the man. And I very much like this game.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Splat. Alright, so there was no achievement for that, so it's very possible that that was never an ending to begin with. Or perhaps I made a mistake. Who knows? Maybe there wasn't an achievement for that one at all. But I'd like to think that there was at least something there. Alright, I could do this forever, but I'm probably going to stop it there. But rest assured, I'm going to be coming back to this because experimentation with the quirky systems of this game is it's to me it's incredible, and I enjoy doing it. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching. If you're enjoying this, then drop me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in future videos. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.